I'm really surprised that little gun got that.
I thought it wouldn't.
It almost didn't.
It probably won't get this stuff.
Got some power in the battery. So we got Miss Kyla. Miss Kyla just got off work. What are you doing, Miss Kyla? Just holding the brakes for him?
Yep.
Just helping him hold tools and whatever it may take?
Yep.
So, you tired?
Yeah.
You look like you just got off work.
I
You've been working
tired.
a lot of hours. Yeah. So when are we going to see you racing next? Don't know?
I have no clue.
What are you racing next? 4x4 or the
450.
450? That's going to be a little while because we got to get Ryan at BNR to help us
Yeah.
out with that.
Yeah.
So, but you
Yeah.
had fun racing the 4x4?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. But Brandon's been riding and practicing on it and tested on the four-wheeler that this one here, the one that
Tomorrow on it too,
he's
so.
practicing tomorrow. So anyway, so Brandon, you want to tell us what's going on, or you want to talk about your weekend?
Yeah.
Had a good race this past weekend.
Had a really good race this weekend. Felt really good all day. Obviously you've seen the podium interview, but everything went really well that day. Felt really good. Felt like we could have won it. We were close. We were there. So it's a good thing, but
You learned some stuff?
yeah, ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Just doing some maintenance items now, so.
I didn't realize, but you had like a chunk taken out right there. Did you run in the back of somebody?
I
don't know.
I don't know where most of that stuff come from. I believe this side's Cody's tire, but
This is Cody's tire. Yeah, this is the accident there at the end.
but any of this stuff I don't
Yeah,
know.
what ended up happening there? So you and him were neck and neck, obviously. You're coming down for the last ditch effort at the finish there, and it appeared that, I mean, you held this Can-Am Renegade wide open coming
Yeah,
around the corner.
so
You gained on him.
I'll explain the last four corners. So we were behind a lapper right out of the woods. So we're, I mean, bumper to bumper essentially. I mean, there was like barely an inch probably between us. And we both motor up at the same time, get around this lapper, and we come out of the field section, and there's 3 corners to the finish. So I'm right on his rear bumper, and I go wide in the very first corner, third one to the finish, and I probably went a little bit too wide and just held it wide open and threw me way out there. Then Cody seen me coming a little bit, so he sort of closed the door, and my goal was, after I seen him close the door, was switch to the other side. And at that point in time, I was too close to him. I grabbed onto his rear tire, and it threw me off and threw me over. But what I was trying to do was go to the other side, maybe cross this, anything I could try. I was trying to do it right there, and
Yeah.
but end up didn't happen. It got second, but still felt really good all day and really close to the win. So
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like you caught those guys with speed. Now you just gotta learn how to do everything. So but yeah, so that's what we anticipated. It looks like that's what you was doing. Obviously, you wasn't gonna get in there, and rightfully so. You would have did the same thing, obviously.
yeah, for sure.
So, and of course you were not there.
Yep.
So but anyway, then you tried to go to the left and tried to cross it over a little bit, and then obviously
I
just ended up hitting his,
rear
you
tire.
tagged his rear tire, and it just threw you up over.
Yep.
And slammed you on the ground.
It did slam me on the ground, for sure.
But anyway, listen, we all had a good time, and it was a great race, and probably one of the best races I've seen in a while. And you two guys got a lot of respect for each other and gonna be racing together for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyway, had a great time, and I know you want to come out on top next time. And fortunately for us, there's another 9 more races, so we definitely got time.
And
so
we're points lead, so
yeah, and the points leader. So we did take the points lead. The champion, Landon Wolf, he was out this week, and he had strung up some second place finishes, and was able to grab the point lead. Now you are been on the podium every race this year, which has been very, very good, and we're blessed for that.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly take it. And obviously you're still in the learning process of this whole situation, so we're only going to get better, we hope. So, what's the agenda tonight? What are we doing here? This is the 784 machine that you raced this week.
Just found a couple loose bolts. The rear diff was making a funny noise, so taking it apart just to look at it, because we don't want to go to Camp Coker, which I think it's gonna be a good race for sure there, and don't want to go up there and blow a front diff. So taking front diff out just to look at it. Possibly might do axles. I do got a seal leaking. Just doing maintenance items. This is the first time really this quad has been like a bunch of bolts taken off of
a lot
it.
of little stuff, yeah.
And so since we built it, so it's due and it's time. This has probably, I think, 10 to 12 hours on it. Is about what everything has on it. So might change axles as well. Just don't know yet, but we'll see.
We do want to take it apart and look at those bolts that we put in there. This was a new diff, you know, when we started out with this new four-wheeler.
Pretty much everything was new.
Yeah, everything was new except the engine and wiring harness, essentially. So, but anyway, we're gonna get after that and just try to get some of the maintenance done. Now, Brandon is going riding tomorrow. I think he's going to ride this machine here tomorrow. This is the 850 here. We're still waiting on the graphics from Spider Graphics for it, and Brandon, we're going to try to put it all back together. These plastics here will actually go on this four-wheeler whenever we get all the graphics. So looks like Brandon's just got it all put up there. This one here, he rode a little bit the other day. It's not quite yet ready. We got to do some stuff on it to make it ready to go. But and then Kylo's four-wheeler, we've not done nothing. I think what we're going to do is we spoke with Ryan at B&R, and we're just going to send the motor out to him, let him fix it, and go from there. So other than that, that's what's going on here at the shop. We've got Chris Wilson. He's over here. He's got his boy Austin, rides a little 125, and had some problems this past weekend in South Carolina. So we're going to take the motor apart over there and see what we find. But other than that, Brandon's going to be taking the front diff out. We want to look at it and probably put new bolts in it in the diff. What we'll do is once we pop it up, Chris, we can take off. You can use the bolts the way it is. Or you can talk about potentially stuff just to get over it. All right, so Brandon, so we ended up pulling the diff out of the Renegade here, and we did discover a couple of things. That's not good. That chunk is completely missing. We don't know where it's at. Now you did hear a little bit of noise. Is the reason why we're doing some of this, and then preventative maintenance also. You don't think this could have been some of the noise. You just think that this maybe it was loose.
I don't know what happened, because all the bolts that we took out, I mean, they were all tight. They definitely
including this one was tight.
No,
okay.
I mean, they were all. Oh, it's crazy.
But it
Unless
definitely.
we freaking. I don't know if we over tightened them.
Now I will tell you, the last race though, we had to tighten these, didn't we? Because they had loosened up a little bit. I wonder if it loosened up because it spit this chunk out and we just over missed it. This is the bottom, so that bolt there sits up in here.
Yep.
Yeah, so it sits up in here, so it's sort of covered up with this gusset, so you can't hardly see it. So we did not see that, but that's definitely broken there. So Brandon's getting ready to take this thing apart, and we've got to figure out what we're got to do to repair it. All right, so we're pretty much ready to go in for tonight. Or actually, everybody's went in. I'm the only one still out here. Chris Wilson just left. We did take apart that 125 engine over there, and what had happened was he seized a wrist pin up on it. So he's getting a new crank and that kind of stuff. But luckily for him, he does have a spare motor sitting here. So this is the race cylinder head from Chris Shoup. We're putting this on this engine. He's going to get a new cylinder. I think that's on its way with a 13-to-1 piston. So this is the old motor here. But anyway, we're gonna table that one until he gets a crankshaft for that one, obviously, because he seized that up. This is the one we're building for him. But anyway, Brandon, you guys saw what we did over there. So he broke the diff. Just a little chunk. It's kind of weird. The only thing I can relate that to is probably loosened bolts. And we did have a couple races ago, the bolts were loose. And it was the Florida race, after the Florida race. So my guesstimation is he probably did that then. and we just missed it this past weekend on prep just because of the where the bolt was hidden behind that gusset there on the frame. But other than that, so we're going to get us a new diff. We're going to call up our buddies at BNR Motorsports and get them to get us a new diff coming. There's another one over there, a spare one that we could use if we had to. You know what I mean? So we could put in there just to race South Carolina. Although he hasn't ruled out maybe even racing that thing over there. There's some stuff that he's going to do to it this weekend, I think. And I think he's waiting on some parts for it. But for the most part, he would like to race this one here. You know what I mean? And this thing's been just pressure washed. It's not been taken apart and cleaned. We thought we was going to take it all apart, and he's going to take it outside and wash and pressure clean it really good with the plastics and everything off of it. We just haven't got to that yet. But the other thing that we've noticed too, there's a small leak. We noticed it there after the Georgia race. There was a small leak, and it's an auxiliary shaft the dry shaft that comes through the motor. On the front side of the motor, there's a seal there, and so while we have this out, we're going to repair that also. So what our plans is he started hearing a little bit of noise in the front end, and that's the reason why we pulled this out. One reason. Second reason is we want to replace this seal on this dry shaft. This little seal, I don't know if you can see it, but this little seal right here that goes on top in front of the motor here, that one leaks a little bit. Now they pressure washed this so it doesn't show it, but we're going to replace that seal there. And while we have all this out, also he's going to replace the B&R pitman arm just because, and tie rod ends. This quad's got, I guess, I think he said, what did he say, 12 hours? Something like that on it. He's got it all wrote down, keeps up with it. But I think he said by like 12 hours, so we've not done the pitman arm yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And that pitman arm's still good. We'll save it for one of the practice bikes. You know, that kind of stuff. But just want to try to keep fresh parts on this one here. But other than that, that's about it. I know we haven't worked in the shop in a long time, or haven't videotaped in a long time, but there's been a lot of stuff happening. And CJ's got several projects going on, waiting on parts. Seems to be the story of our life here lately, is just waiting on parts for everything. And nobody has nothing in stock. So, of course, he's got a disaster over there with motors and transmissions and all that kind of stuff. CJ works on Toyota Prius cars quite a bit, and with batteries and motors and transmissions and all that, and he does it out here. So he's waiting on some kind of seal or something for the transmission of this thing here, and he's going to get all this stuff picked back up, and so he can get that car sold. CJ buys and sells those cars too. But anyway, all right, so we're going to wrap this video up for tonight. I'm going to go inside. Brandon and Kyla left a little bit earlier today. She's actually staying the night with us tonight. And so she went in to get a shower and get something to eat. And other than that, it's not that late. I think it's like 10 o'clock, something like that. So it's not that late tonight, but we're going to call it a night and come back out here tomorrow night and get going. So as always, guys, I appreciate you watching our videos. And you like, comment, and share if you like our content. And we appreciate you watching.